This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Swan, we have Spambap. And player 2, playing Artanis, we have Kushalbar. So as usual, let's have a look at the masteries. Swan does not have any of his mastery points allocated. He is a sub-mastery level commander, so he is going to be struggling a little bit in this mission. Swan is decent at low levels, but he definitely takes a while to ramp up. Artanis, on the other hand, his mastery points seem to be relatively okay. He's decided to go for 15 points into the Shield Overcharge Mastery rather than the Guardian Shell. This is somewhat debatable. Some people prefer the Shield Overcharge rather than the Guardian Shell. Some people prefer vice versa. Usually it is better to go for the Guardian Shell because the amount of heal that it gives your units is a little bit higher, and it increases the effectiveness of your units throughout the game. The issue with the Shield Overcharge Mastery is that Shield Overcharge is a temporary effect, and you're only going to use it when you want to push into enemy bases, and most of the time a base Shield Overcharge will be more than enough. Over here we have Swan doing a fast expand with 2 Blaster Billies and 8 SAVs, which is the perfect build here for Swan. This is the fastest possible expand for Swan. He seems to have pulled his SCVs a little bit early, so his SCVs are kind of idle here, not really mining the resources, but that's okay. One of the Blaster Billies gets salvaged, giving enough resources to build the command center. Over here, Artanis is still going on, and he has put down a total of 3 pylons so far, I believe. So, oh, no. There goes a 4th pylon down for Artanis. This is extremely wasteful because Artanis already starts at 200 supply. So generally speaking, an Artanis will want to only build 1 pylon and power up all the structures with that single pylon. And for most intents and purposes, it is more than enough to have just 1 pylon down. And sometimes if you are playing with another Protoss ally who uses pylons, which is basically any Protoss commander other than Zeratul, you can even ask your ally to put down a pylon for you, and you can use their pylon and save 100 minerals on that. But now we have the first attack wave that is coming up here from the northwest, and is going to be making its way towards the central lock here to try and capture it. Swan is building a tech lab over here. So as you can see here, Swan does not have tech reactors, which is one of the reasons why Swan is a little bit slower in the sub-mastery levels. Swan gets his tech reactors in the later stages of the upgrades through his leveling path, and that one is a relatively big power spike. But Secret Missile goes down on one of the bots goes down, second the Secret Missile goes up, the Guardian Shell goes up, and you'll kind of see now why the Guardian Shell mastery is really important. The Guardian Shell would have given these bots a little bit stronger heals, so it would have increased their ability to and their effectiveness in the game. But over here we have Artanis, and he's building another 1 pylon, and he's put down 2 forges already, and he has a total of 5 gateways. Oh no, he's building another pylon over here as well, which is very interesting. The central lock has now been captured, and this attack wave that has captured this lock will now start to attack player 1's base. It's how the AI works. Once the AI captures the lock, it'll try and move and attack a player's base. Over here, Swan has built 2 starports and all tech labs on here, which we'll see what he's planning to do with that. Attack wave is now coming up over here. It's a bunch of Hellions. Hellions means that we are dealing with a Mech-Terran composition. Secret Missile goes up on the Siege Tank. Siege Tank has been saved by the Guardian Shell. Laser Drill starts DPSing these units over here, and Artanis is building cannons in his main base. He has still not taken this expansion, by the way, so this is relatively unique as a kind of a build. And Hellions start DPSing the command center over here for Swan. Warp field goes down, and we have a warp-in of 2 zealots after the Hellion goes down. Excellent. And player production-wise, we have armor and shield upgrades, or armor and attack upgrades going up for Artanis' units, which include a total of 3 zealots. He's warped in 1 extra zealot over here now. And Artanis is not really doing anything. Swan is producing his Hercules right now, and he's producing 2 siege tanks, which means that the Swan build is one of the best Swan builds you can do. The Hercules Siege Tank Goliath Science Vessel combination is extremely powerful for Swan. It is the most powerful Swan build you have access to, and it is available from level 1 Swan. The only difference is, as you can see over here, he doesn't have access to his tech reactors, which means that he needs more production structures to be able to get to a similar level, to a similar power level as a mastery level Swan. But in terms of upgrades and in terms of unit-specific upgrades, he has everything that he needs to get to that same build. It just takes him a little while. Attack wave comes up over here now, and it is, again, rise of some Hellions. Hellions go over here and start DPSing this. Artanis starts to use his orbital strikes to weaken this attack wave over here, and he has no problems dealing with the attack wave here, but he has lost 1 cannon so far. Over here, Swan is getting vision with his Hercules, which is a very clever idea. You can do this. Uses his combat drop, which, as you can see, only contains 4 bots here, and he drops the siege tanks, and you can see the power of these siege tanks in action. Just instantly drops down and wipes the entire central lock. That central lock has now been cleared, and Swan makes his way towards the next lock. I'm assuming he's going to go for the lock on the west now. Pushes his combat drop forward, gets his vision, laser drill starts to deal damage, and the laser drill starts to DPS these banshees right now. Siege tanks just shelling away at the back over here. Really good positioning, very good strategic play here from Swan. And over here we have Artanis, who has built a few more cannons and has still not taken this expansion. And he has put down a total of 4 more pylons over here, and we have Swan queued up some of his defensive structures, and we have Artanis building up another 2 more photon cannons over here. 3 more photon cannons. 4 more photon cannons over here. And 5 more photon cannons over here. Over here, the siege tanks are... over here, the Swan is just using a siege tank to deal damage. Seeker Missile goes down the Hercules. And the Hercules can tank this damage. Good thing he's picked up a siege tank. Siege tanks don't take damage from that. And he's using his laser drill to draw aggro. We have a total of 5 more cannons in production now, and we have a Flaming Betty over here, which is generally not very useful against a mech kind of composition. Flaming Betties are very effective against Zerg comps, but against a mech turn composition, Blaster Billies are generally better. But we have a lot of photon cannons over here. Ally sends some probes over there. I'm not sure why he sent it over there, but we have a total of 3 locks that have been captured. This attack wave that came up over here has just captured that lock, and Swan is going to be dealing with this attack wave that's come up. He has no problems dealing with this mech terran attack wave. The siege tanks deal so much damage against mech terran compositions. They're really good for dealing with that. Another Seagull Missile goes down on the Hercules. Hercules gets out of range of that. Seagull Missile goes... basically expires, and we have a bunch of science vessels and Goliaths now joining into the fight. And this central lock, lock on the west now has been captured. We get a ping from Swan to tell Artanis to come and capture this lock over here. Artanis does not seem to be paying attention to that. He is producing a Stargate and a Twilight Council, which is interesting to say the least. I'm not sure why he's doing that, but more power to him. And we have Artanis here with a Zealot that is waiting to capture this lock over here, and Swan sends his army up to the southern lock right now, and he's going to be trying to capture that. This one has some presence of air units, so it'll be a little bit more difficult for Swan to push in here, because he has a siege tank and ground-based composition. You would ideally want to use your concentrated beam like that to take out some of the targets, which he does right now. This weakens this lock. siege tanks go down and just start shelling away at this. There are some banshees over here, and they deal a lot of damage to siege tanks. Over here, Artanis is busy building some cannons. Again, over here, he has a total of 6 cannons in production, 7 cannons in production, while Swan is duking it out with Amon, and this lock goes down as well. But this attack wave that was there at the eastern lock comes down, starts moving down here. And you can see the positioning over here. Have your Goliaths on the front, siege tanks at the back, and the siege tanks just shell everything from behind. And they deal a lot of damage very, very quickly. Upgrade-wise, we have the advanced optics, which increases the range of the siege tanks, which is really, really good. And we have the ship and armor weapons. The only thing I would recommend if you are playing Swan is to get the Maelstrom rounds as well for the siege tanks. It increases the amount of damage that they deal and makes them a lot more effective against single target damage. Splash damage I believe remains the same, but it's the single target damage that really makes a difference. Swan starts to navigate his way up here to deal with the eastern lock over here. And Artanis is going full ham on the cannons right now. He has a total of 27 cannons on the map, and a total of 8 zealots on this map here. And Swan is just going to start like pushing in over here. Siege tanks have not landed, which is somewhat, I believe, a bit of a misplay over here. The siege tanks should have landed over here to deal damage to the Thors and the land siege tanks. I think he's realized that now, and he's going to start moving up forward. Yeah, there we go. There is a hybrid dominator over there, but the hybrid dominator is not going to make so much of an impact. And Artanis is just going away and building a lot more. He has a total of 32 photon cannons right now, and 5 zealots. This is actually very interesting. How much does he have in production? He has 3 more cannons, and he's getting zealot charge right now. This eastern lock over here just goes down very, very quickly. The amount of, I believe Swan has lost a lot of his Goliaths, but the important part is like his siege tanks. His siege tanks are very, very valuable, and they can only be produced out of his tech lab factories. Goliaths can be produced out of reactor factories, so it's not. It's very easy for him to mass produce the Goliaths. A concentrated beam goes down over there to deal with the attack wave. I believe it was a little bit delayed, but Artanis now decides at the 18-minute mark to try and clear his expansion with his army of cannons. We have a few dragoons over here. Attack wave starts attacking from this side now. This was coming in from the northern side, and we have a solar bombardment going down on what's left of the attack wave. It's a little bit delayed, and the probes are just sitting over here. And I believe he's waiting to hit 400 minerals before he puts down his expansion. But yep, there we go. The expansion goes down at 18 minutes and 30 seconds for Artanis. Attack wave over here is trying to camp this lock, but Swan's on the ball, and he sends his Goliaths over here with a bunch of siege tanks as usual, and you can see how quickly he's able to clear these attack waves. The only thing for Swan is he's kind of getting choked. You can see how many resources he's flowing over here, and the reason why he's getting choked is because he's producing his Goliaths out of tech lab factories, which means he can only produce 1 Goliath at a time. Generally, if you are playing Swan at low levels, what you want to do is have these 2 factories, but build a 3rd one with a reactor, and you can produce your Goliaths out of that. And you'll find that your production is generally okay. You can even put down a 2nd reactor factory if you want, and if you find you're flowing too many resources. Guardian shield overcharge goes down, and there is a massive attack wave over here with a ton of siege tanks. Swan's SCVs goes down, Swan's structures goes down, 3 zealots decide to charge into the siege tanks, and they decide to retreat after that. There are too many siege tanks, and this attack wave is making its way towards Artanis' precious cannons on this side. Swan is dealing with this attack wave on here. The siege tanks just start shelling this area, and we have a total of 4 cannons that have gone down. I think 1 went down a little bit earlier, so we have 3 cannons going down, 5 more cannons going down, 6 more cannons going down. Artanis does not have vision of these siege tanks. Siege tanks can shoot from outside vision, and we have a total of 7 cannons lost, and 3 of the zealots as well. 4 zealots gone down, with, I believe the final count is 8 cannons and 4 zealots. Over here we have the remnants of whatever's left from the attack wave. I believe it's only a siege tank of the science vessel, and it starts to shell this this space over here. What is interesting is Artanis has gotten the ground attack upgrades and the shield upgrades. Only the shield upgrades affect the cannons. The attack upgrades do not affect the cannons. It only affects the units. So if he was planning to do a cannon build for whatever reason, he should be using the shield upgrades. But personally, against a mech composition, there's so much burst damage that even the shield upgrades don't really make a difference. Here we have another attack wave. This time now we have Thor's. Concentrated beam goes down. Most of the attack wave was cleared by the blaster billy, so I believe the concentrated beam was a little bit wasteful. But we have a secret missile now being targeted on the science vessel. Science vessel gets hit, but we have a bunch of Thors, and a combat drop goes down here to deal with this attack wave. We have a good number of science vessels. The Goliath count is a little bit low for Swan. He has a total of 13 Goliaths. I believe some of the Goliaths are making their way to
our allies are being attacked.
This area. I'm not sure where the Goliaths are, but I guess that is 13 Goliaths. He should have a lot more Goliaths over here, but as I said earlier, it's because of the lack of a reactor factory. We get a ping over here telling Artanis to go and cap this lock. Artanis is parked over here, and Swan decides to push into the last lock, which is the northern lock over here. Now that he's cleared this ramp, it's very, very easy for him to drop some siege tanks, which I believe he's going to do in just a little bit. Siege tanks go down and they just obliterate that hybrid. We already have level 3 attack upgrades on the siege tanks with their advanced optics, which gives them increased range. And as you can see here, this is like how Swan should play. Get the Goliaths on the front line, Goliaths tank for the siege tanks, and then the tanks deal damage from behind. There's an attack wave that's coming up over here. You probably just saw the drop pods coming up over here, and they are going to make their way towards a lock. I do not know which one they are going to work towards. I do not have the order open here, and they spot Artanis's precious cannons again, and they start to shell his cannons. Artanis's orbital strike goes down over here, but Swan deals with this northern attack wave really, really well. He puts a siege tank step on the high ground and just shells everything from the low ground. But siege tanks decide to siege up right now. We have a bunch of zealots over here, and the zealots are able to clean up now because they have charge and they're able to close the distance very, very quickly. Overall, what do we have lost here? We have 10 cannons lost and 7 zealots. In terms of units owned, we have a total of 20 zealots and 9 dragoons, and I believe all of the dragoons are parking themselves over here. Swan is over here just dealing with the rest of the mission. We have a siege tanks move in a little bit too much in front, but he corrects his position very, very quickly and is ready to go. Cloak Banshee makes no difference because there is a very large number of science vessels and they all have detection, which is really good. Raven tries to move somewhere. I'm not really sure where the Raven was headed, but this lock is now cleared, and Artanis sends a... Oh, no, there's another attack wave, but a pulse cannon goes down and instantly wipes this attack wave here. We have a bunch of zealots over here, and they are ready to cap this lock. Combat drop goes down to complete the last lock. Svanbab is not sure whether he's able to complete the mission, but they are done. And that is, relatively speaking, GG. Swan completely carried this mission. Artanis has a total of 34 cannons, 2 Stargates, 2 Forges, and 4 Warp Gates. Svanbab, best Artanis I've ever seen, and I'm not joking about that. Grishabar, thank you, he says. And that is GG.